I've been a bad, bad girl.
Hello and welcome to the final podcast, the last podcast you will ever listen to. We are the creators of the Spooky Pit, the innovators of the Passion Bump, and we take you down the darkest rabbit holes of all things horror.
Welcome, spooky bitches. We review horror movies and fucking with comedy. We are your final bros, Brian Hopwell-Lagrassa and Shane Milord Smith. Joined today by Jen, the producer, and special guest, Jen.
Yes, we do have a very special guest today. We have one of my favorite bitches from Twitch.
I knew that was going to happen.
We are welcoming Randuhsrebellion on the podcast today.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. Love it.
Thank you for coming
Yes,
on.
happy to have you here.
Thanks, guys.
We're reviewing a very special movie today, too.
Very timely with
Yes.
the release of the game.
Yes.
One of my favorite ones.
I mean, the movie's not so special, but the idea of the movie is special.
Yeah, true. I mean, I like sci-fi movies, and like sci-fi horror is cool, but I think the adaptation of this movie could have been better.
It could have been workshopped a little more.
Yeah. I mean, as a movie, I don't know. I don't think it's a terrible movie.
No, it's a terrible adaptation of a video game, but
The first one is good. The other ones could have been better. The other movies, yeah.
We actually just found out some exciting news today about the game that Miranda usually streams on her Twitch channel. They're adapting Resident Evil to Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
Really?
who are they bringing to it?
They don't know yet. It's like they did like a little skim of it to show you like, oh, we're doing it, but we don't know who the killer or the survivor or anybody is yet. But I'm hoping it's going to be Nemesis. But
It would
The guy
have
with
to be,
the guy with
right?
his
Yeah.
brains out.
yeah.
I guess that or like the tyrant from the original Resident Evil that you fight at the end of the mansion. Those
Yeah,
would be the
that's
two
right.
big ones.
So I'm like excited to dive in because I know Shane is gonna like be big on like adaptation to game,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna try
pretty
to,
big.
I'm gonna try to like air more to like the movie.
Yeah.
So I'll let you be the game guy.
Okay.
And maybe Miranda will be talking to like the critique of game adaptation versus movie, and Jen if you want to as well. I'm gonna just judge this movie
Yeah.
pure on credibility of movie versus like taking the game side out of it.
Okay. So
it's fair.
yeah, very fair. So let's do it. Let's jump right into the Spooky Pit.
A military outfit defends itself against dead infected scientists and an intelligent super defense system known as the Red Queen underneath Raccoon City. Resident Evil was released in 2002, directed by your favorite Shane, Paul W.S. Anderson. Horror sci-fi, starring Ukrainian mistress Milla Jovovich as Alice, Michelle Rodriguez as Rain, James Purefoy as Spence, Eric Mabius as Matt, Colin Salmon as One, Martin Cruz as Kaplan, and God forgive me, please, Pascal Eliardi as JD.
Okay. So right off the
Quite an
bat,
array of names.
I thought I was gonna fuck that last one.
yeah,
up
you did pretty
bad.
good. But I do want to say, not a single one of those people you mentioned are from the video games.
I know.
Very true.
I mean, who the fuck is Alice?
Alice
You
in
want-
Wonderland, maybe?
You have a video game series that has very, very strong female characters like Jill and Claire,
Yeah.
and you create Alice.
Yeah, I know. You wanted Jill Valentine?
I would have took Claire. I would have took an Ada Wong.
You got a man. At least you got a freaking mansion, though.
Barely. I got a shower.
You got some dogs.
There was a few crows too. She goes out into the little like foyer and they fly away.
No.
They're
that's-
digital
that's-
crows, though. They aren't real crows.
You can even get real crows.
Yeah. Oh, like when she goes outside and you hear like the loud sound of all the
Yes.
the murder of crows.
I like what you did
Oh,
there.
That's
Yeah.
what you call them.
That's
CGI.
right. They are called a murder of crows. I
Yeah.
forgot
Yeah,
about
a
that.
thing is called a murder. A thing of crows.
You know,
is
a thing of
murder.
baboons is called a congress.
Did you know
Congress of
that
baboons.
a bunch
I
of
love
cats
it.
is called a clouder?
A what?
A bunch of cats is called a clouder.
Yeah.
I have a clouder at my house.
Do you?
Like 5 cats.
I didn't know that.
I have one cat.
You bought a fifth cat?
Probably somewhere. It's hiding.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't
it's
know.
fair. Once you have like a cat, they kind of just appear after that. More cats.
The more
Yeah.
cats just come.
Exactly.
Well, she moved out and she had one cat, and then her parents decided that they would get like one cat when she moved out, and then they came home with 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now
You
we
never
have-
stop at one, except if you're you.
Yeah, well, that's just because I'm not allowed to have more cats. Eventually, I'll have another cat.
He'll have 12
That's fair.
cats just to make up for the
They'll
one
keep
he
his
has.
daughter company.
I have like half a cat.
Yeah, She's a tiny little. 5 weeks now. That cat, right?
5 weeks.
So
Yeah.
cute.
Little kitten. Mm-hmm.
We gotta post more of your kitten to the Instagram.
I can do that. I could definitely do that. You know, I was like, because all my friends take pictures of dogs so much, so I kind of vowed I would never take pictures of pets. But this one broke me a little bit.
Well, let's be honest. Your cat is better than any of our friends' dogs.
Thanks.
I'm
Shane
directing
hates
that basically
dogs.
at one person.
Shane says all of our friends. He's directing it at only one friend.
Yeah,
Like
just
Danny?
one person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny of GKM. Apparently, Shane hates your dogs. Multiple.
Yeah, it's, when you go to a house and they assault you the second you walk in,
Sure.
you learn to hate German Shepherds.
Way to like throw him under the bus hard.
Oh, but he knows this. He knows this, so I'm okay saying it on
He
here.
also has like 3 German Shepherds now.
Oh, I know. They're loud.
Yeah.
See, now, I like dogs. I don't want to say this the wrong way. I like dogs. I just hate German Shepherds.
I'm gonna clip where Shane goes, I hate dog. Wait, no, I'm just gonna clip that.
Okay, thanks.
Just a specific breed.
Yeah. So all of that conversation was better than this adaptation.
Oh.
All right, so let's get into the movie.
Yeah.
It basically opens up with a monologue of someone describing what exactly the Umbrella Corporation
It
is.
actually, you ready for this? William Birkin.
Yes,
the
that is
narrator.
who it's supposed to be.
I forgot it started that way.
He's uncredited.
Yeah, I was gonna say William Birkin isn't even in the movie, which is sad.
Played by Jason Isaacs.
He is. He's played by him in the next movie, right? I think.
Yeah, I think so. Event Horizon, Paul W.S. Anderson guy.
Yeah. Also, that is the only character that's from the video game series.
Yeah.
Like, technically, even though he's not in the movie, but the voiceover counts. He just says how the Umbrella Corporation is the leading provider in pharmaceuticals and technology, but they also have, it's unknown to the public that they also deal in bioweapons and things of that nature.
Yep.
So
Which I
that's
feel
the gist of what they give you.
Mhm.
So what's the opening scene?
Well, yeah, because then the opening title comes on. And you see like someone like a biohazard suit. He takes out like this suitcase of different. At this point, it looks like a bunch of strands of a virus, I guess, right? And before leaving the lab, he just does like a little toss of the blue strand, and it cracks on the floor, opens up, and it appears to be airborne traveling through a vent. And then you kind of like see a scene where like dogs start barking, because I guess they sense it. Right? Dogs have good senses, I guess.
All the dogs they're doing genetic experiments on, they're all just like, what the hell?
You know, I was like wondering why there were dogs down there. I was like, why do you need dogs in an underground thing? And I was like, oh, experiments. That makes sense.
Deep research.
Well, I think even in the scene, do they show it being injected into the rabbit at the beginning? No, that's later
No, I
on in
think
the
it's-
movie. That's
yeah.
later
Oh,
in the
yeah,
movie.
it's like when
Okay.
she's having that weird vision. Or
When she's having
something.
flashbacks.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. They do show though the unknown guy who threw that start to like run out of the place. He bumps into a guy, spills the coffee on the guy's shirt, and then the doors start to close and the lab starts to shut down.
I love these movies because like this is like you could tell like the central plot, and they completely forget about the guy that has his coffee spilled on him. Like, what's going on with that guy's day? Like
He's
his
not
day is
important at all.
his day is ruined.
Well, it's really ruined because you do find out what happens with that guy because he gets on an elevator to hell.
That's true. That's a good
I
point.
actually really like the whole this whole beginning process of the movie.
The funniest part is though, they don't like none of the characters have names. I actually looked at what their names are. It's like Mr. Blue, Mr. Red, Mr. White, Dr. Green. Like they were like doing Clue. They were like we're just gonna put Clue names out there.
Even the group we're going to meet soon, that's like the soldiers, like the medic is actually just credited as medic.
Yeah.
She doesn't even get a name.
They didn't even bother to give them names. They're like, they're gonna die soon anyway. Who
They
cares?
really could have just given them like the names out of the video game, just like pay tribute or something, because they didn't really do much else. But they were just like, no, lazy. We can't write that in.
Well, they
Yeah.
actually used Dr. Green was actually
Okay.
the actor's real name. The Red Queen is looking at her. It'll say like in the corner like Anna Bolt, which is actually the actress' name. So, which was interesting. I thought
They would rather use their real names.
just her
Like-
though. No one else.
I feel like just, like the idea of Resident Evil, like, it would have been not very difficult to pull off a perfect adaptation of this game, like for a movie.
Well, no.
It's not a very difficult concept.
Well, one thing I always remember reading is before like they gave this movie to Paul Anderson, I think it was George Romero had written a script for this movie.
Yeah, I don't know where you're going with this.
He wrote a whole thing where it was the STARS team investigating the mansion, and I think like one of the things he included was like an actual love storyline between Jill and Chris. And that's kind of weird, but I would have accepted it because it would have used the characters. But they threw out his whole script and gave it to him, and we got this. Which, like I said, it's not inherently a bad movie.
It's not.
It's just a horrible adaptation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they bring them all into like what the fourth or fifth one, where
Oh,
like,
great.
Claire and Chris and
Yeah.
all that come in later. Yeah.
Well, that's like in the next one, Jill is in the second movie, but
Yeah.
she's a side character to Alice,
Yeah.
who is the
That's
director's
True.
wife.
Yeah,
She seems
that's
like
right.
less badass.
She's the director's wife?
Yeah, they got married after doing, I think, 2 or 3 of the Resident Evil movies together.
nice.
What happens when you're locked in with someone doing a movie?
Yeah. And then he directed nothing except Resident Evil movies for like 8 years.
Yeah. He started his career. Then he just started doing Resident Evil movies. You're right. Like he did Event Horizon. I think he did another.
He
movie
did
too.
Event Horizon. He did the first Mortal Kombat movie.
Yes, in '95. That's
Yep.
right.
Oh my God,
And
wasn't
then
that
it was all like Resident Evil.
Wasn't that a bad movie?
I thought that was horrible, wasn't it?
The first Mortal Kombat movie?
Yeah.
It wasn't great.
There you go.
I think the second one's actually worse.
The second one's much
Yeah.
worse, but he had nothing to do with that, so we can't, we can't drag him for that one.
Can't stamp him on that one.
You can stamp the other guy though.
We can't do that.
Yeah.
I just don't know who he is.
That's fair.
Important enough.
Didn't look it up.
No. So where the hell are we?
Yeah, sure. Well, Shane, an alarm's gonna sound
Okay.
in this complex,
In it 3.
and yeah, glass doors are gonna close, and the employees are sealed in this facility now.
Okay.
And they just think this is a fire drill, and if I'm not mistaken, water starts gushing out from the ceiling.
Because they get locked in their lab. The sprinklers are just going off.
Yeah.
They start to panic because she's screaming there is no fire. The one guy grabs an axe and he starts swinging, and then a tiny little thing chips off, and that's it.
Yeah.
Then they don't swing anymore. They give up.
I would have.
Well, off camera, he definitely swung at least 3 more times because you'll see the little water that shoots out later. So he had got a few chips in there before he just gave up and drowned.
And then there's an elevator.
Yes, this scene is actually really cool.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. So they're in an elevator, right? Spilled coffee guy and other girl. She probably doesn't have a name either.
Miss Black, I'm sure. Or Miss Green. Miss Yellow,
Okay,
whoever it is.
so we'll call it Spilled Coffee Guy and Mrs. Black. They're in an elevator, and it stops. And then they hear the elevator next to them just crash and plummet.
Literally terrifying.
Yes, because you're like, oh, shit, that's going to happen. It does happen to them, except there's the emergency brake catches. So then they pry open the doors, and they put Mrs. Black out of the elevator, and she sees everyone's now been gassed and killed. She gets stuck, and I feel like she could have wiggled out, but she can't for some reason.
She I don't know how she thought she would fit through there in the first place. It was
Yeah.
like this big, and she's like, I can squeeze. I'm like, no, you can't. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
It didn't work, and then the elevator decides,
Let's pick up a little speed.
yeah. So it goes straight down.
It
And then-
stops right before she hits her head. And then that elevator does the dirtiest trick in the world and goes in reverse.
No, but this is my question here, because the elevator does shoot back up really fast, but her arms are now in and just her head is out. So couldn't they have just like yanked
Yeah.
her in? Because it wasn't her head was stuck; it was that her arm was out.
Yep.
Yeah, they probably definitely could have, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
They're like,
she's
oh,
dead
she's
now.
like on her, who cares?
Yeah, she got decapitated
Super
real
bad.
quick.
So that's that. Now we know everyone in the lab is pretty much toast.
Yeah. No, I think the scene's going to shift, and you're going to finally see our protagonist, Alice, waking up and looking at herself in a mirror. Think she feels her shoulder out because it's got a wound.
Yes, well, she wakes up naked in the shower. She doesn't know what happened.
Most inconvenient
Should
place to
mention
pass
that,
out.
right?
Yeah. She has a nice robe.
She finds it under the bed.
Yeah. It's a good robe.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, she looks through her drawer. There's a bunch of whites, locked armory.
Yes.
Just as in everyone's drawers.
Yeah.
100%.
You know, everyone has that like high-tech technology, like keypad that has like machine guns, a handgun.
Super high tech.
Yeah, there's probably a grenade.
Obviously,
Yeah,
she looks like
bomb.
she's very confused.
Yeah, but then she picks up the worst thing ever. She just gets into a dress. So I'm like, girl, pick like jeans. Or
You
like,
couldn't have looked in any other closet.
like
You
why
op-
would you pick up a random dress just sitting on the bed?
You
I would
wa-
like, no.
you open
Slip right
one
into this
drawer,
red-
open one drawer, there's an armory, refuses to look in any more drawers.
Yeah, you would think like the guns, you'd be like, oh, what's in the next drawer? But she just gets up after that.
I can't do anymore.
Just walking to the crows, walking around the house.
Yes, that is what happens. She walks to the crows, and then she starts to call out, and this is when a man grabs her from behind.
Yeah.
We learn this guy says he's a cop, I believe.
Yeah, his name's Matthew. It's
Yes.
Matthew, right? He's like in a suit.
Yes. But right after that, a bunch of people in this like military gear just come in. They cuff Matthew and they start asking Alice, like, report.
Before I
Report.
knew who they were, I was calling them the tactical crew because they just broke.
Tactical gear?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fair.
It is fair.
they bust through the windows. The tactical crew. They
Yeah.
mean business,
It's true. It's kind of like Rainbow Six Siege.
and they and they take Matthew and they take her along with them.
They start yelling at her to like report, and they keep calling her soldier. And then they're like, oh, the house's defense mechanisms must have kicked in and they're suffering side effects. So we're pretty much learning that this house has its own system.
And we're also learning that this girl, Alice, does work with these people that came in. She just doesn't remember it. Because I think even the one guy says, like, the gas can make you lose your memory from anywhere to a few hours to, like, a week. There's no, like, timetable here.
Exactly.
They then go downstairs into what we learn is the hive.
One thing I may have failed to mention in the past is that Shane has a humongous toy train collection. He loves trains, and he was super excited to see the Alexei 5000 train in this movie. Choo choo, Shane. So now they're all aboard the train.
You know,
I'm
that's
not-
that like crunch sound could have been a lot more satisfying.
It was a very tiny chip. I'm
Just
sorry.
shove like a bunch of chips in your mouth and just crunch it into the mic real quick.
Let's see
There we
what
go.
we got here.
Oh,
There
that's
we go.
so
That's
much
so much
better.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Let me just finish this before I talk now.
Yeah,
You're gonna need
definitely.
to drink water. I got vodka right there.
I am
Do you want
staying away from
vodka?
that.
You definitely need vodka.
It is like 4
Vodka.
p.m.
Vodka.
So inside of this train, though, we find a new guy, and this is Spence.
He
And
just falls out of a closet.
Literally just
Yeah.
falls out.
Most people do.
Yeah.
we see Alice have like these flashes at this moment.
Yeah.
And this is when you see like the picture. So they are like a married couple because she even notices the rings on both of their hands.
Yeah, one thing we didn't mention is that when she woke up, she looked at a picture, and it was a picture of her and this dude, and we know that the dude that looks like they were married is this guy Spence that fell out of a closet.
Yes. And he also has memory loss. So we can now assume the same gas hit him and that he also works with these people.
This is some pretty sick gas.
Yes.
I'm just saying. Like,
So the leader of these militant guys explains like that they're umbrella employees, that their marriage is a cover up, that they're there basically to protect the hive. That is their whole job. The whole mansion is a lie.
her marriage is a sham. It's a fake. It's a cover. It's a proxy. It's just something that's not real. It can't be real. It's a fake marriage for this one, I'm sure of. But I'll tell you one thing. This guy is credited as One. That's his name in the credits. I never hear him referred to as One ever in the movie, but he's the leader of the tactical crew, so
Yeah.
that's
Well, the
what I
funniest thing is too, like Milla Jovovich's character Alice, you don't know her name is Alice until the very end on the credits because they never
Yeah.
say her name.
That's true. They don't like.
True.
I'm trying to like characters like
JD, Rain, and
Spence.
Spence and Kaplan are like the
Yeah.
four they like because like Rain yells JD's name like 1,000 times in the movie. But
Yeah, and
Um,
Alice yells Rain's name I think a few times.
yeah.
And she says Matt like 30 times too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Matt. Yeah.
So we know 4 characters' names. By the way, I guess we should mention this group of the military guys is like it's like 7 people, 8
Yeah.
people.
It's about that. And the hive is, I think you've mentioned, it's under Raccoon City.
Yes. They get to the end of the train. JD breaches the hive, and JD is then the first to go in. And now we could describe the hive if you would like.
Okay, so the hive is basically like this underground facility where kind of like a triangle cone shape with a bunch of different levels.
Like a beehive.
Yeah, like a beehive, exactly. Literally each level has probably a different set of weapons.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
And they make it very specific that people don't just work there, that they live there as well.
Exactly, because they're there all the time. They never leave. And so outside, when you're looking out the windows, they make it seem like it's, oh, you're on the outside world. Even though you're underground, we still have a nice view for you with all the buildings and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that doesn't make it better, but thank you for trying. So,
Yeah.
At least they give them something.
true.
But
I wonder where they sleep.
I assume there's like a sleeping quarters or something. Like kind of like I guess if you like work as a doctor,
Like a barracks?
they have like that like little bedroom you could just go take a nap in.
That sucks, though.
There's like there might be like a social area we just don't see because they said they never leave. Like those people live there.
Because they only
Yeah.
have a train to take them to the top, to the bottom, you know, so.
I wonder what the pathing of that train is like. Like those tracks. Like, how does that look?
They're
I
having
think
They
they
show it.
Yeah, they
It's just,
kind of
like,
do show it. It kind of just like It just goes from the mansion, kind of like just straight down.
Dips, right?
Yeah, it's just like a straight dip.
There has
They
to
should
be
make, like, a
more,
loop-de-loop.
more than one exit out, because it doesn't seem like anyone goes through the mansion to initially get there. So there has to be like a secondary way.
They could make it like a roller coaster, loop-de-loop, and twist.
I would have to study the schematics of the place, and I don't got time for that.
You need the blueprint.
Yes, I need the
need the
blueprint.
You need an architect. It's like, you can do it take some time.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah, it is. I don't want to do all that. But what I will do is tell you, they see the elevator is collapsed, so they are kind of pissed they have to take the stairs.
Yeah, I mean,
Isn't everyone, though? I want to use an elevator, not stairs.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. Like, if I know I'm going into somewhere that's like the whole place was shut down because something went on a killing spree, I don't want to take the elevator. I don't want to be trapped in a box.
It didn't work out well for the first people, so.
No, not at all.
they start mentioning some information about the Red Queen.
Yeah, which is why I brought it up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice foresight.
Thanks.
Segue.
So we learn about the Red Queen. She is a state-of-the-art AI which controls the entire hive. She went homicidal and killed everyone inside of the hive. And as we are learning this, we see the dead girl floating in the lab from the beginning of the movie.
Is that like a water tank? A vat? What is that?
It's the lab that they were doing. Remember the sprinkler system? So
Yeah.
the whole thing is filled up with water.
The whole
That's
lab
why
room.
you see
Gotcha.
the axe marks where the guy was hitting.
Yes.
There's like the little dripples of water going out.
But then the funniest thing is, like, when they go to the lab towards the end, it's like half filled with water. And then
Yes.
she like rises out of it and attacks. It's like the weirdest thing.
Well, I guess because like there's water spewing out, so it just spews halfway out.
Maybe, yeah, that could be it.
What's it called? So the Red Queen doesn't just control the hive; it also controls the mansion. Like it goes all the way up.
Yes, it controls the defense systems, even on the train in the
Even
mansion.
outside the facility.
Yeah.
Which we'll find out later. Suspense, he's a nice guy. He's going to give her his coat.
He does do that.
He's a gentleman.
Yeah.
Which somehow fits her throughout the entire movie, even though
That was one thing when I was going through like the IMDb goofs and stuff like that. They say when she first puts on the coat, it's like oversized, and then throughout the rest of the movie, it's clearly a woman's jacket she's wearing.
Yeah. But like on the exchange of the coat, like
Yeah.
she gets more influx of memories of her and Spence. So I mean, as the viewer, you think they're married, but now you're like, okay, well, they must have had some kind of history, even though they obviously have lots of memories.
Yes. And then as the group walks away, the woman that was in that lab opens her eyes
And puts her hand
onto the glass.
on the glass, yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
They then walk through what I like to call, I guess, the container room.
You're talking about Dining Hall B?
Oh, yes, it is called Dining Hall B, but it's not actually a dining hall.
No, it doesn't look like a
So-
dining hall at all.
I'm actually curious about this because I thought about this upon rewatching it. Do you think, because they're looking at a digital map, do you think that it would be possible that the Red Queen would like configure the map to get them lost?
100%.
What is the Blair Witch?
Kind of.
Could be.
Well, I mean, we'll learn that the Red Queen is trying to kill them throughout the movie, so it would make sense that she would make them go through this
Definitely.
room
It's plausible.
and like change it. As we're in this room with all the containers, like they kind of, some of them are looking inside, and you see these like tubes going into these creatures. You can't really tell what they are, and it's actually kind of creepy.
No, it is for sure. And now I think they're going to pop open the door to the chamber that houses the Red Queen.
Yes, not all of them go in though. Some stay behind.
Yeah, and one of the agents, I think it's the leader of the tactical crew.
One,
Yeah, he inadvertently activates the lights in that hallway
yeah,
as he's continuing through the next room. And at this point, Kaplan's explaining to Alice that the device that they're kind of carrying is going to scramble, disrupt, and ultimately shut down the Red Queen.
Mhm.
That's their goal. But the system then locks them down in the room, and Kaplan's like urgently trying to get them out of that room.
yes. So one thing we should mention is that before they walk through there, Kaplan was disabling the defenses of that room, so they thought it was safe to go into there. But the Red Queen has reactivated them in what's probably the coolest scene of the whole movie.
Well,
I was
you
gonna
love laser
say,
tag.
best scene ever. It
Yeah.
has to be.
It's awesome. Like, so basically what this room is, Brian said, it all lights up. It's like, would you say, like a fluorescent, like bluish, whitish color.
Which
And
has the best lighting in the whole place. Like, literally. Everything else is dark but this one room.
so inside of this room is one medic, guy, and guy, because those two don't have names.
Yeah.
And this just laser comes rushing at them. Two of them get down. One of them gets down a little too late and loses his fingers. And then they turn around and realize the medic wasn't paying attention for some reason, and her head just slides off.
It slides off. It actually slides forward.
Yes. This is where the movie gets a lot of continuity errors. All right, so then the next one, the laser's coming, and a guy jumps up and it cuts him in half.
Said, bitch, you thought.
And one, he's like super athletic. He hangs on, like pulls himself up, stiff as a board, and he just cuts a little bit of his knife. So now, technically, the guy on the floor with only his fingers cut off should be alive, but we never see him
He
again.
was like in shock or something. They
Yeah.
said.
Did you see his hand?
Yeah, it was.
It was a fake hand for sure.
Yeah,
It was like hollow looking.
Yeah.
it wasn't the
It
best.
was like a porcelain hand. It was just like
So then, one more laser's coming, and it's coming, and one is ready for this. But then it goes into this
Like
grid.
quilted lasers.
Yeah, like it's almost like a spider web of lasers.
It like comes at him as a straight line, and then it was like
Psych.
psych.
Yeah. So now this is where I have you guys can all explain this to me. Great. Okay. It cuts him into like 1,000 pieces, and that's fine. Now my question. Wouldn't it have cut every other person on the floor into multiple pieces, and wouldn't it have also destroyed the bag that was in the room?
Yes.
yeah.
100% right. Yeah.
I love this scene too because like not to jump too far in advance, but it's like the most bloodless room of all time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They didn't have enough budget for the bucket of blood to throw.
Yeah.
They were like, she just cut them so cleanly.
Well, the lasers could have cauterized a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, which is fair. It's like a Star Wars cut, essentially. You
Oh,
get
yeah,
hit
there
with a
you go.
lightsaber, it automatically, there's no blood. It's fine.
Instant cauterization.
Yeah, I'll allow that.
Okay.
But the other people would be in pieces. The bag would be destroyed.
Sure.
And when the others go back into the room and pick up the bag, it's like no laser ever touched it. Also, the guy who was cut into pieces, his body is just gone. There's no pieces in the room.
I never realized
They
that.
only had enough of a budget to have the pieces in the room when he got cut.
They use like
Seems like-
marbles or something to be
Just
like,
throw
"Look,
marbles in
these are
there."
these are the
And I know I sound like I'm nitpicking, but I do actually like the scene overall.
It's a good. They're good deaths, but I feel like they were just like, we have to get rid of like all these characters pretty quickly.
That's why they have names. They don't care.
I kind of almost respect that. Like, other movies are busy, like, this guy's Jeff or this guy's,
Well, they want you-
Jill, and then they're gone in 2 seconds, so you didn't care about them. This movie knew right away. Who cares about these two guys? Like, we're getting rid of them. They don't even get names.
They're
He had
pure
one
fire.
line. What is that?
I liked the leader though. I was kind of disappointed we didn't get him in more scenes.
His voice.
Well, yeah, he was a badass.
Yeah,
It's like nice to listen to.
that actor's amazing in these movies.
His voice is so nice to listen to.
Doesn't
Brandon's
he
like,
come
"Can you
back
just play
in a
soundtrack?"
later film?
Doesn't he?
As a, like,
Miranda?
What?
Doesn't the leader come back in a later film?
Jump with the leader of the
See?
tactical crew.
yes, because isn't there, like, I know the movies get crazy into, like, cloning people and stuff. Isn't there one where she, like, meets some of them again as clones or something?
Oh, those are all her clones, I thought.
No, that like the one girl who turns into a zombie at the end. She
Yeah,
comes-
Rain.
Oh, Rain.
Yeah, Rain comes back.
Oh, yeah, okay. So,
Does
yeah.
anyone else come back?
So they do come back at the end of the. I haven't seen the sixth one in a while, but it's like, yeah, it's like a dream world that she's in, and Rain comes back, and I think the Commando guy one or whatever does come back.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I did remember that right. A little
Yes.
wrong. I thought they were clones, but thank you for the
There are
clarification.
clones though, but they're her clones.
I wanted to build up his character though, so you get an emotional
Attachment. Yeah.
and then they slice him up with lasers, but they leave the bag.
They need the bag. That's why they don't want to destroy it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Speaking of progressing storylines, Kaplan and Alice now go into the room and they retrieve the bag, and Spence wants nothing to do with this. He stays out of the room completely.
Mm-hmm.
So the two of them go in, they talk to the queen. She's a little girl. You'll learn she's modeled after...
Programmer's daughter.
Yes,
Something like that.
it's one of those head scientists or programmer's daughter.
You're all going to die down here.
She's definitely
Yes.
British, 100%.
One of my favorite lines in this whole movie.
I think they show her like in a hologram, right?
Yes, it's a completely red hologram.
Yep. She's like, don't disable me. But Kaplan, he's not buying it. And he wants to disable the Red Queen.
Also, Paul W.S. Anderson, I was looking it up earlier, did direct The Three Musketeers, which starred his wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What about Pompeii?
he did direct that. He also directed Death Race with Jason Statham.
That's a good movie.
Which I do like
Death-
that movie.
I rember that movie.
Forgot
You should
about
watch
that
that
movie.
movie, Jen. It's good.
Is it a horror movie?
It's like
No,
No, it's like an action
Yeah.
racing movie, but it's actually really good.
But everybody dies. Like they kill everybody.
Oh,
So,
perfect. I'll
It's
love
like
it.
Hence the name Death Race.
Death
Exactly.
Demolition Derby.
I'll love this movie then.
yeah.
His most recent movie, last thing I'll say about him, is Monster Hunter, starring his wife.
Jovovich, right?
Yeah,
Interesting.
which got mixed reviews.
Have you seen Pompeii, which is like a love story inside a volcano?
Yes, I actually like that movie.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
I like
think Jon
volcanoes.
Snow's in that one.
He is. He stars.
Yeah,
He's also in Silent Hill Revelations.
that movie fucking sucks.
Yep.
All right,
Moving on.
so we're talking to this computer, right?
Yeah. Kaplan is trying to use the device to disable it.
He shuts down all of her core power, so it like shuts the whole lab down.
He's like, I'm gonna shut you down, bitch.
I don't think he says it that way, but yeah. And the last line she says is your favorite line. You're all going to die down here.
Oh, going to die down here.
You do that really well.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite line. I made sure I say it right.
I wonder if they would make the Hive a map.
Make the hive a map.
Yeah, on Dead by Daylight.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
It would we'd probably think of it the same way we thought of Midwich Elementary School from Silent Hill. Like we originally wanted to go there all the time because it was a brand new map, and we were just like, "This is so cool! It looks so good." And then now that whenever we get the map, we're like, "We fucking hate this map."
It's the worst map ever.
I don't play the game. I do know what Midwich Elementary School though is in Silent Hill.
When
And
you're
that place
running-
sucks.
Yeah, when you're running from a killer, it is honestly like so hard. Like I run around the map half the time just looking to see what the goddamn stairs are. Like I can't
There's
find them.
only 2 sets of stairs.
I
that are
know.
opposite sides of each other. I'm like, awesome. Thank you for that.
Well, they actually did it perfect to the game then, because that's how you
Yeah.
are in the game, just trying to find which stair goes to floor 2 and which stair goes to floor 3.
There's no floor 3 though. They all just go to floor 2.
There is a
Ah.
floor 3, but it goes to like
Oh, you're
one
right.
section up, and then you're like stuck there. You're
Yeah,
like, oh, well.
it's like a dead end.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. Sounds about Silent Hill.
Yeah.
So, back to the movie. Rain hears noises,
Mhm.
and she goes to check it out, and she sees,
A survivor.
yeah, we'll call it a
She calls
survivor.
it. Oh, we got a survivor here, and
She's
she goes back to
walking all
JD.
creepy. I think I would be like, I'm gonna stay away from this one. She looks a little off.
I remember as a kid playing honestly for PS1 playing the first Resident Evil game and seeing I know this is irrelevant because it's not the same thing, but when you see the first zombie kind of like eating on the ground and like getting up
And the
it's-
slow head turn when it looks back
Yeah,
at the
dude.
camera.
that's kind of like it just reminded me of that. I remember how scared I was as like a very young kid.
Yeah.
I think I was like 9 or younger maybe.
Yeah,
That's
God,
awesome.
that first
50.
Resident Evil came out in like 97, 98, so.
You know.
Yeah, it had like the weird camera like moving angles that you
Mhm.
had to like.
Yo, it
was
made
the
it
worst thing.
so creepy though. I
Yeah.
think I appreciate it maybe more now because of those creepy camera angles. You
You never knew it was around the corner.
never knew what was coming because of the way it positioned. So like you could be walking right into them.
Good. Good way
We
to
would
have
be an
something.
awful rescue team in this movie. Like all of us would just go down there and see like the person limping and be like, maybe not that one.
Oh, no, yeah. Like, playing Resident Evil 2 was always the one I remember getting scared of, because the first time you're in the police station, you run past those boarded windows, the arms jump
Yeah.
out at you. I remember when I was a kid, I used to close my eyes and just run down the hall and just try to get through.
Just
And now I
scream
do
the
a
whole
horror
way.
podcast.
Ah! As you're running through.
Pretty much.
Shane wouldn't even enter the hive. Shane would be like, I didn't get paid for this.
Who would enter that? I wouldn't.
I mean, Jen's probably offing herself before she goes in the hive.
There's like a scene
True.
we'll get to later where a character has like the choice to shoot himself, and I would have been done already. Like I
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
discussed this many times.
I have something to talk about with that scene because I
Yeah.
just don't like when people shoot themselves in the mouth like in movies. Like I'd rather go for the headshot. I
Yeah,
feel
but, well, because if you
You can.
if you don't shoot yourself in the right way, it might take a little longer to die. Like, I
Yeah.
get that.
it might go out and it might miss. Like if you shoot yourself directly in the mouth, you have to aim it so precisely that you hit like the spinal cord that connects to the cranium.
Yeah.
And that sounds like a hard shot. So wouldn't it just be easier to like do the forehead?
100%.
of course. Like,
They always say
100%.
under here, right where your
Under the
neck
chin?
is. Yeah, like
that would
right
work
between
too.
your neck and the chin. That's the best spot because it goes straight up through your brain.
Yeah, that would
So
work
in a
too.
zombie apocalypse, we all know what I'm doing.
Like, would you even die? I'm like, I think you're right. You'd have to hit the spinal cord because if you don't have the spinal cord, you're just choking on your blood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's just miserable.
Especially like one side of your head's blown off, but your brain's intact. Like, oh, painful.
It's just me now.
Hey guys. Speaking of miserable, this scientist we find here bites Rain's hand.
Little bitey for sure.
Takes a chunk out of her.
Yeah.
So JD shows up and says, back up, back up, back up. Shoots her in one leg, she's still coming. Shoots her in the other leg, still coming. So Rain just blasts her.
A lot of blasting.
Yeah.
Unloads and sends her flying back.
Bitch isn't standing now.
I'm just going to throw it out there. I love Michelle Rodriguez.
She's my favorite character in that movie.
Yeah, she's
Best
great.
Character.
I'd also like to mention that my mom's friend met her in a Boston market.
Oh, I'm so jealous. So jealous.
That's awesome.
It's kind of random, but it happened. So
Super random. Was she nice?
Boston markets are.
She said that she was nice. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't let that tough guy movie persona. She's probably a real sweetheart.
Oh, for sure.
She's been in like Fast and Furious too and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
those movies are great.
Yeah, she plays tough persona in all the movies. Like that's just kind of like
she just kicks ass.
That's her role. She
There's
does.
one movie I don't like her in. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, you're a big fan.
I love Michelle Rodriguez. She's great.
Please come on this podcast.
Just DM me. It'll be great.
This person is now gone.
Yeah.
And by gone, I mean like not dead, like has disappeared.
The group gets back together and JD's like, oh, Survivor's gone now.
It's actually funny because the way they say it's like, oh, we found a survivor. Where is she? Oh, we shot her. But then the body is gone.
They're like,
whoopsie.
The group's coming back late, and then like only like 3 people come back.
What'd you do?
Yes. They do mention that, and they don't even say what happens. They just say no one else is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, that they didn't even ask like what happened. They were like, they're not coming back. Just don't worry about it.
It's one of those things where I'm sure like they're trained where it's like if someone hasn't come back, they just know like the worst has happened.
They move on with the mission.
Exactly.
Well, Matt's gonna notice that the blood that's on the floor is coagulated, which means this only happens after you're dead. So I know this person was dead.
Yeah. Is that actually true science?
I have no idea. Shane.
They had it on general trivia that it wasn't correct, but I can't like go into detail because I don't remember.
I have no idea what that word means.
Coagulated means like it's
boiling.
It's clotting, right?
There you go. Yeah, I couldn't think of the word.
That's like a Looney Tune word for the word clotting.
I
Coagulate.
don't have a resident.
Never heard that
No.
word? Oh my gosh.
I mean, I don't. When I think of coagulation, I just think of Halo.
We don't have a resident doctor expert. We have more obvious things like a resident data analyst,
A resident ass-eating expert, a resident dark web expert,
Yeah.
Damien the tech guy.
all the things you'd expect.
Which one's Ant, the dark web expert, and the Pokemon?
Yeah, he was our dark web expert
Don't
and
we have
Pokemon
more?
expert.
I thought we had more experts.
Oh, we definitely do.
We have a ton.
An array of experts.
Andreas, our resident trade expert.
Shane's our resident love expert.
Apparently.
That's actually true though. You're
Which
the
one
love
did you
group.
give me? I don't remember. It was from like the recent episodes.
Yeah, it was in the.
Oh my god, it was one I said in the Cube episode, I said Jen, our resident button sucking expert.
It's so accurate.
Miranda hasn't listened to that episode.
I haven't gotten there yet. Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, well, that one's interesting.
There yet.
Who sucks a button?
Holloway in the
Yeah,
Cube.
So they hear a noise like in the distance and very cool camera shot, and obviously we know it's someone that's infected, but it's just like someone kind of walking on a broken ankle,
Yes.
dragging an axe on the ground.
Yes, which now this was another question. Is that the guy from the lab in the beginning that's hitting
The
the
bald guy, yeah, because he's carrying the axe.
Yes.
That would make sense.
Yeah,
Sliding
his emotional support axe.
Oh yeah, his emotional support axe. He just carries it around.
So I guess what we can like kind of conclude is that when they shut the power off, it drained the lab and opened all the doors, which is why the lab is half full with water.
Mm.
That's what I would take it at, and that's how he got out.
Rain says it when they're talking, before they talk to the Red Queen. She goes, you shut the power down, you opened up all the doors, you let them out.
But let's just go into it. The whole group is just blasting now.
Yeah, and I like a good blasting.
Yeah.
Everyone's popping off.
So my thing here is they see the chest shots aren't working. They never go to the head.
Yeah.
Like,
You're right.
I don't think they know that yet, though.
You
that
think they would
to
just
kill
shoot
those
like
shot
up and
shots.
down though?
see, this is my thing.
All over
This
the
movie
place.
came out in 2002. Night of the Living Dead came out already. So none of these guys have seen a classic movie about zombies?
In this world, we're assuming that in this world, the 68 Romero classic existed.
Yes. This isn't The Walking Dead where zombies never existed in media before.
Yeah.
It seems like that in every zombie movie, no one's seen a zombie movie.
Wait, is
Yeah.
that true? In The Walking Dead, zombie movies didn't exist?
Well, yeah, that's why, if you notice, they're never called zombies in The Walking Dead. They're called biters, walkers,
Walkers.
all different things, because the word zombie doesn't exist.
Freaks.
I wonder
think
if
they say
that.
freaks
I
at
wonder
some
if the word
point.
zombie
Clowns.
somehow is like trademarked and they couldn't use it.
I don't think so, because everything uses zombies.
Also,
Yeah,
Robert
okay.
Kirkman. I mean, they would give him those rights because he's like
Yeah.
the zombie expert.
He's
in
the zombie
The
guy.
Walking Dead. Yeah.
So another thing we'll mention, going back to the movie now, because I'm the transition guy, is they're also blasting the tanks. And one of the tanks, it like starts to like, I guess like the steam starts to come out and you see like the juices stop flowing into the creature. I don't even know what to call any of this stuff. So
I like juices and I like steam. I like where you're going with the Shane.
okay, thank you.
So yeah, everything's moist.
Yes.
They're unloading. I think you even see like a shot of Matt who's like trying to like undo his
cuffs.
His cuffs.
He has
Which I have a
he has
thing
something.
with cuffs, man. I hate that scene. It
Why?
annoys me. When he's trying to get the cuffs and he drops the keys into the sewer drain,
Mhm.
he clearly can't get those, but he somehow does anyway.
Yeah.
You are 100% right. There is no way he's pulling those
How he
out.
recovers those keys? I have no clue.
He like
So
his
let's-
fingers grow like Freddy, and he just grabs.
So let's just say how he gets there. A tank explodes.
And you like explosions.
Of course I do.
Yeah.
I have nothing else to say about that. So the tank explodes. The whole group kind of separates. He ends up under a table where he drops the keys into the grate.
He's fighting off a flaming zombie. Shane.
Yes, and now he's also fighting off a flaming zombie. There's a lot of tension in this scene. His fingers grow like Freddy, as we established. He gets the keys.
Alice picks him up and they leave. Right?
Yes.
JD struggles to get the door open. I think Kaplan's trying to yell at the code. It's like you said, it's like a very tense scene because they were surrounded by like these infected. Are we calling them zombies?
Yeah, well, they are zombies in this, so
Right,
yeah.
You can call them zombies now.
Spence is like, "You haven't left." He's like, "I don't know the code." It's very Gart saying that he would leave if he had the key code. He'd leave all of them.
I absolutely love Spence in this scene because, like, everyone is panicking and he's like, just like, these fucking idiots can't put the
Get
code
the
in.
door.
It's just like,
Yeah. Get it open, man. Come on.
JD opens it up and he's grabbed by a bunch of zombies, pulled in. I believe Rain tries to get him, tries her hardest to pull him in. She can't get him. The agents pull her back to make sure that she doesn't have the same fate as JD. Sad to say. Rest in peace, JD.
yeah, when JD is being pulled into this elevator of zombies, Rain gets bit again.
Yes, I didn't mention it.
Yeah, so Rain has now been bit.
Like she just tastes the best. out of
That's my
everyone.
favorite thing about her. She gets bit like 50 times and she survives longer than half of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you see some examples. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but of people that turn a lot faster than her.
I would say that who's the guy in the blue collar, the cop guy, Matt. I'd say that he turns pretty quickly when
Yes, from when
Shit
he gets
happens
the
to
claw
him.
wound.
What I'm thinking they're going with is just because that's more of
A
a.
super beast?
Yes.
You're going to see the super beast. Signs of him right now.
Well, we'll call it by its correct name. It's a
Well, we-
liquor.
Which you just found out before we started recording.
I've watched the series forever and I had no idea that was called a liquor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because of the
So
long tongue.
we also found out
Get
what what the actor who plays his name was.
Oh, yes. So it wasn't an actor. It was just the prop, but they named him Clint.
Mm.
Clint.
There's like the prop doing the liquor
Yeah.
actions.
Yeah. They're like,
Interesting.
we're going to name the liquor Clint for fun.
Solid name.
There's a lot of CGI in this movie, I noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't turn until you die. So if you stay alive longer, I guess if you could fight it off longer, that's why it takes longer for someone to turn rather than.
That's
Gotcha.
true.
That's what I always took it as. But with that said, the group is now separated, I believe, right? I think it's Alice and Matt are together.
It's Alice and the infected dog.
Oh yeah, she's alone right now, right?
That whole
It's not
scene,
technically
yeah.
alone. I mean,
Oh yeah, we got dogs.
you have
We
an
have a
infected
dog.
You can only
Total
hope
combat.
it's not a German
That she
Shepherd.
remembers randomly.
Those dogs literally just look like they shed their like top layer of skin.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
What kind of dogs were they?
not German Shepherds. I know you wish they were.
Not Pinscher.
I wish they were Dobermans. How funny would that be? Little wiener dogs running around.
I don't know what kind of dogs they are.
What about like a Doberman
They
Pinscher?
look like
Is it a
Pinscher.
Rottweiler?
I don't know.
No, it's not Rottweiler. They have like really pointy ears and like longer bodies. I think it's like a Pinscher or whatever those things are called.
Yeah.
I think you're
We'll go with that
We're going with
because
it.
I have no idea.
I'm Googling
I
it.
say
'cause I
Jen's
wanna know.
Googling it now, yeah.
Okay. Well, we could describe this because the dog scene's going to be on for a little bit.
Got to run away from the dog, right?
Yeah,
So
because she's getting chased by dog zombie.
Yep. Doberman.
Oh,
Nice.
is it Doberman?
This scene,
Oh, well, I don't know what wiener dogs are called then. What are the wiener dogs called?
What, wiener dogs?
Yeah, what are they called? What's their like real name?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's not a
Moving on.
Rottweiler.
yeah, I don't know.
Smaller Dobermans.
No. This is what reminded me of like old school Resident Evil because she runs away. She like locks the door behind her, immediately turns around, a zombie right in front of her.
Yeah, no, it's a good scene. She then fist fights the zombie.
Well, what I like about Alice is that she's like this Ukrainian roundhouse kick expert because she definitely her accent breaks out multiple times throughout this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's in like her character. I don't think it was. I just think that was just too much Jovovich.
She threw her own little mix in there real quick.
Yeah.
They re-recorded it with the accent.
Yeah, just they needed to like they're just like go at it.
Funny though, because the zombie's name that she fights is Clarence. So they gave the zombie a name.
Was he a security guard?
He was like the guy who like watched the dogs, like the dog owner guy.
The kennel guy.
Yes.
The kennel guy. There you go.
Kennel Master?
Kennel master. Milord.
Yeah, it was a Game of Thrones reference. Like we said, she fights the zombie. She kicks him through some glass. She pulls out his gun. She becomes the best shot in the West and shoots every dog with one shot. She's out of bullets and there's one more dog. So she does Brian's favorite thing in this movie, which is runs up a wall and does a spinning roundhouse kick.
I love how you know it. She just kind of like assumes the role of Bruce Lee and just hops a wall and roundhouse kicks. Awesome.
So she was like the right person to be at the top of the mansion to keep intruders out. Because no one's getting through that.
No one's getting through those feet.
I like how she just remembers combat skills real quick too. Her memory's all gone, but I remembered how to kick. Don't worry.
She remembers all her mixed martial arts background.
Then from this scene, we cut to Matt, and he's looking around, and he finds the ID tag for Lisa. We find out Lisa is his sister.
Yeah, we found that really soon.
It's gonna be soon. It's gonna be shortly. So
Yeah.
there's a zombie that like startles him from the glass, right? And then he gets attacked from behind by zombie Lisa.
Yeah, and like there's one where he's looking at her. You don't know it's his sister yet. I thought it was like his wife.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Well, because the
going,
way they looked at each other.
I thought he was going in for like a zombie smooch.
It's like bow chicka wow wow.
I thought I was gonna get a passionate scene here, but
Oh my God.
just his sister trying to kill him from the grave, of course.
Of course, of course. Matt gets saved though because Alice comes from behind and bashes the sister Lisa's head.
And then what's gonna bash Alice in the head is more memories of how she knows Lisa.
Yes. So is this where we learn like the whole like
Yes.
okay.
Yep.
So we learned that Lisa was moving into the inside of Umbrella in order to expose their secrets of all these bioweapons and their black market deals, and that her inside agent was Alice. She was the one who was going to give her
Yep.
the passcodes, all that stuff she needed.
That piece is not revealed yet, but you kind of get the hint when they bring up that there's a secret agent. Obviously, it's going to be her if she's there talking to her in the middle of a graveyard. We don't know where, but there's a bunch of weeping angels from Doctor Who.
Yes. There's all of it.
They're just all stand still because we're looking at them.
Yeah. Pretty creepy. I don't like cherubs in those things.
No. It's why you don't want to review The Haunting.
No, I don't. So Lisa was Matt's sister. That is revealed.
That is revealed.
And you explained everything about their little plot. She was going to smuggle out a sample of the virus. And she knew that someone in the hive could give her the security codes, which we blabbed is Milla Jovovich's character Alice. That's fine. Alice and Matt reunite with a group of zombies after they're running past them. And Spence mentions that they can just wait here in the Queen's chamber until backup arrives. But Rain tells them about the blast doors.
Yeah.
Because they'll seal in, I think, a little under an hour
Yes.
if they don't get out. And they'll be locked in forever.
Yeah, which is why they go back to the Red Queen. And this is where we learn all about the T-virus. This is the scene now where we learn it's the T-virus. We learn all the properties about it.
The Red Queen explains, even in death, the human body remains active. The brain still holds a small electric charge that takes months to dissipate. The T-virus provides a jolt to cell growth. And those electrical impulses that reanimate the body pretty much brings them back with some basic motor functions, which is why they're like zombies.
Yes, and as that is explained, we actually get a flash of JD waking up as a zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and their all basic human instinct is like hunger. They like
Pretty
just want
much.
to eat. That's all they can do.
Totally explains that. Also, I gotta know, is that true? Would you know that?
What?
You're not a resident doctor. We don't have a resident doctor yet, but like when is like your brain still like somewhat active in death?
I actually have no idea.
Like
It takes at least 30 seconds for you to fully die. Like when the initial impact when you're about to die or something like that, your brain actually stays active for like 30 seconds.
Miranda wants to be a forensic scientist, so she can technically be our resident death expert.
I know lots about death, sadly, which is kind of weird.
we have our resident death expert.
Perfect.
Perfect.
I don't know how accurate it is, but I know some things, yes.
I mean, none of our resident experts are that accurate, so this will work out.
I do know that, though.
You're
Yeah,
our
it takes
most-
at least 30 seconds for your
Our
brain to
most
die.
accurate resident expert.
Our most credible resident source.
Well, tech guy Damien's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, another reliable source.
Yeah.
What about Dark Web Ant or like
I don't know about that one.
Trade expert Andreas?
Or Dale's dick-sized
Ass-eater?
Giovanni.
Yeah, our resident ass eater expert is. I'm pretty sure he's credible, right?
Actually,
you guys
yes.
can speak to that.
Yeah, I mean, like we had him on the Human Centipede episode. Dale, can a human centipede be medically done? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Solid input. Another thing we do learn is this is where she reveals the only way to kill these creatures is to shoot them in the head or sever the spine.
One bite or scratch from one of them is sufficient to make you turn.
Yes, which is when they all look at Rain like, maybe take 5 steps back.
We'll just have you as bait. Go over
Yeah.
there.
Can we take your arm?
Jeez.
Oh my
Arm.
You just throw her as bait, but piece by piece.
Are you doing like a Ruby reference where you just throw Yang's arm across the...
I wasn't, but that could be taken like that as well.
Or you're just Walking Dead it, where you amputate the arm and hope it hasn't spread too far.
Oh,
Yeah.
we know it's spread through her body. She's got
Without
like
a doubt,
5
she's
buttons.
been bit a long time ago. Oh,
Not
was she
yet.
bit on the neck yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh,
okay.
that's by
In
the
the
that's by
sewer
the
scene.
that's by the teammate.
Mhm,
Yes,
in
that
the
is
sewer.
coming up shortly. Another thing we learn is that the virus was, well, we knew this already, but she explains it. The virus was leaked out, which is why she had to shut down the hive and why she had to kill everyone in there.
Yep.
It's also why she's trying to kill them, because she doesn't want any of this to get out.
No, it's full containment procedure.
And now we're moving through the sewers,
Yeah.
which I'll give the movie this. If you played any Resident Evil video game, you know there's sewers that you got to go through.
True.
There's
Normally, though, there's huge ass spiders and an alligator.
Oh my god.
or in the remake where they have those like weird like blowfish looking zombies.
Oh my god, I hate these fucking things.
I know. I was like, are you actually kidding me? Like, where did these even
Ridiculous.
come from? They're not even real creatures. Like,
Someone got a promotion
animals.
and just put that in there.
you know, it'd be cool. Blowfish monsters.
You
Go
said
back.
sewers. I think we're gonna go utility tunnels.
But there's like a sewer grate down there.
Okay.
Yeah, that Rain uses to like push Spence into, and then
Yeah.
he gets like grabbed by the zombies.
Yeah, and they're just, fighting zombies. The same thing that's happening in the last scene when they were fighting zombies. Kaplan gets bit in the leg in this scene.
Yeah, he's like climbing up to get onto the pipes. So
Yes.
they go across and he gets bit in the leg.
And this is when Rain also sees zombie JD,
Yeah.
who, as you said, bites her in the neck. So this is bite number 3 for her.
Which after being told all that, like by the Red Queen, to then stop and go, JD? Like, zombie, don't be just staring at him. And then she gets bit. I'm like, oh my gosh.
He like goes in for the hug and she's like, yes,
Please. I love you.
I know somewhere in the middle of this tunnel scene, there's a part where like Alice jumps up and twists the neck of a zombie with her muscular, thick thighs.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I realized, by you saying that, Paul W.S. Anderson loves shooting a scene like that, because in Mortal Kombat, that's how Sonya kills Kano.
That's right.
It is.
Oh my god.
So that's just a fetish of his at this point.
Yeah.
Thigh crushing muscles.
Thigh crushing.
Thigh crusher Paul W.S. Anderson.
But we should call Milla from now on Thigh Crusher.
So Thigh Crusher crushes his head.
They all do climb up onto the thing, and they're trying to climb across to get into, I guess it's an exit out of the sewer.
Like teetering pipes.
Yes. But when it's just Kaplan left, the pipes collapse, and he honestly has some of the sickest dodges of all time, because the fact he doesn't get bit anywhere here is very impressive.
30 zombies, too. I'm like, not one could get one bite on them.
Legitimate hit of zombies.
Yes. And then, like, he has one on top of him, and he's fighting that one off, which is fair. But none of the other ones come and surround him. They're like, all right, we could go one at a time here.
Maybe they all have dentures and they all fell out.
Everybody
And
get in
they're
line.
just trying to gum them now.
Just the
Ew.
oldest scientist.
That sounds worse.
Yes.
Could you imagine really old, like 90-year-old zombies?
Like
trying
their
to
teeth
gum?
just fall out and they don't have teeth.
Imagine like that would have been a cool scene, like if like Alice got bitten, but like it was fake teeth and they just stuck in her skin and just like fucking porcelain dentures.
Oh, my God.
Ew.
Interesting idea.
You know.
I like it. As the zombie is on Kaplan, Alice actually shoots it off for him. He then is able to climb up, but he is on the opposite side of them. And they're like, we'll come get you, we'll come get you. He's like, no, just go, leave me here, don't. Which they do. He looks through his bullets and sees he only has one left, which is so poetic. He puts the bullet in the gun into his mouth in the worst way possible, as we have already discussed.
Yep.
And as you see the group leaving, you hear a gunshot.
Mm-hmm.
But you instantly learn he didn't kill himself.
Yeah, it's like literally
Like,
Yeah.
there is no suspense to the
Dude.
scene.
I was just about to say that. I'm like, they would have made it so much better if they would have just like left it like Alice thinks he's dead, and then we just could have like been more surprised when we see him at the end. Like, oh my god, it's Kaplan.
Yeah, you know I would never would have done that.
Like,
I would have been done from there.
no.
we'd be like, oh no, Jen's dead. We don't even have to worry about that.
Oh yeah, no, we know that.
She's not. She's not coming back.
No, but,
Jen's
like,
gone. It's fine.
totally agree. I think it would have been a much better like filmmaking technique if they either just left him to come back like at the end of the movie, or just like because what they did was they had that scene, like one small scene, I guess, of their reaction or something,
Yeah.
and then they literally went back to Kaplan again.
Yeah, Alice like looks back real quick, like, oh, did he kill himself? And then
Missed opportunity.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you'll have to fight for your dinner, and like crawls away. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
come on.
It's so true. I think there is a zombie like because he's crawling up the pipe. There's like a zombie
Yeah.
like crawling up. I love these crawling zombies.
Slowly, like,
Yeah.
I actually found out too from reading the general trivia that the zombies were professional dancers, so that I guess they could do like awkward, weird positions, unnatural ways, or something.
Oh, that's cool.
That's actually
That's
cool
super-
way to cast people.
Yeah, that's
for that
super
role.
interesting. That it does make sense. They also know how to take good kicks.
Yeah, especially the dogs on the running
Watch 'em
wall
peel
spinning
plant
around house
real
kicks.
quick.
Imagine
bite
like
'em.
imagine like they didn't tell the people who were playing the zombies that these people are going to be trying to like get away from them and kick them in the face. That guy just gets like kicked in the face.
Oh, by the way, oh, sorry, too late.
He just like stops the scene. What the fuck?
So, getting back into it, we then see a liquor run through the sewer. So we know it's still out and about doing its thing.
Funny
Or
when you say
Super
it like
Beast.
that.
Yeah,
Liquor.
She's like a fucking liquor.
it's a liquor. It is.
You just see liquor like running through the sewers.
Everyone knows it's a liquor. It's got like its brain coming out. It's got these long
You
claws,
think this is an
long tongue.
adaptation, Shane? This isn't Resident Evil. This is Escape from
Let
Raccoon
me
City.
have this. Let me have this one thing. So now we get into what I like to call the flashback, because it's literally a flashback.
Thanks.
Alice walks through the lab again.
Yes, my
and
lord.
now she kind of flashes to when it was a normal lab before a zombie outbreak, and she sees the white rabbit being held down, and it gets injected with a blue serum, which we learn is the T virus. But then it also gets injected with a green serum, which we learn is the antivirus. And that's when she says, oh, there's an antivirus. And that's it. We know this Red Queen doesn't want them out, so she ain't going to tell them that information.
No.
Very true.
Yeah, like her sole job in this entire situation is to contain the virus.
Yes. Like, even when she gives them helpful information, she still wants them dead. Like, she doesn't want anyone out.
Honestly, she easily could have killed them though.
Probably.
I was thinking that throughout the whole movie. I feel like that was like there's several opportunities where she could have had them killed.
I mean, couldn't she just turn the gas back on?
Yeah.
Or like did she only have lasers in that room? Should she have them throughout the entire place?
Well, the laser budget was not that high. Like, they can only get one room with lasers.
Yeah.
And it's the room where she is.
I mean, protect her, I guess, maybe.
Now she's in the flooded lab, right? And she's like, this is where they developed the virus.
Yes, because this is also now where she admits to Matt that she was his sister's contact.
Correct.
And then Matt's like, you betrayed my sister. Like, you betrayed my sister. And Alice is like, I honestly don't know.
She's like, I have early onset dementia.
But now, like, Spence, his, like, finger starts twitching. And he has his own flashback where we learn that Spence was a super spy. And he has this, like, handheld antenna, like, to their conversation. So he knew the whole time that Alice was, like, working with Lisa. So
the range on that is incredible from where
Oh,
he
yeah.
stands.
I'm like, this thing has got some sick range.
I mean, I'll allow it. They're technically working for this super secret biochemical weapons technology company. I'm sure they have something like
Their
that.
house can shut itself down.
Yeah. So once he, like, remembers everything, we then see that there's a gun on a table, conveniently placed gun. And Alice and Spence both look at the gun. Alice gives this great dive, but Spence was standing next to it, so he kind of just picks it
I
up.
kind of like how they
Did
both like,
Alice like place it down? I thought.
Did
She
she?
got into the room. I think
She might have. I
places it
probably
down.
just didn't catch that.
yeah, they both piece together what's happening without actually talking. They just like Alice figures out that he realized like just by that blank face he was getting exactly what was going on.
He had that evil stare. He was like, "Oh, I'm about to go nuts."
Yeah.
Spence admits he has the antivirus. It was on the train with him, and he goes through this whole thing of how, like, I can't believe, like, they had, like, defense mechanisms even in our own home. Like, he's like, you can come with me, Alice. Like, we can just leave them and do this.
Have everything we've ever wanted.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
the
they
most part is he just ended the human race for money.
Yeah.
Because he started this whole thing. This whole thing never would have started if it wasn't for Spencer. Or Spence, sorry.
Yeah, it's
I mean, you see the flashback of him. He's the guy that obviously tossed the.
yeah, they do show all that now.
They show everything. He's the guy that left her the note in the beginning, which we didn't mention is the note before he left.
Today, all your dreams come true.
Yep. So that's why he said that makes sense.
But my whole thing here is with his motivation's a little shitty. Now, obviously, it's shitty that he wants to, like, sell this for money. But I mean, like, he knows that she's trying to take the corporation down. So how does he think in his mind that him selling the virus to another party is going to make her happy?
Money. She'll have all the money she wants. Because that's what makes women happy.
I mean, he could buy me like that, but he's not buying Alex.
Yeah, she can't be bought for money. That's very true.
Like, pay off his student loans. That'll definitely get him off.
That would get Shane
dead.
way off.
The idea of, like,
blast off.
that's true.
If you're a sugar daddy out there and you would like to pay all of our student loans, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
There you go. You're out there, Spence.
No,
Speaking of
he'd buy
Spence,
liquor.
as he's giving his whole bad guy speech, a zombie then rises from the water, the doctor that drowned from the beginning, and she comes from behind and bites him. Matt tries to fight for the gun, but doesn't. Even though he was bit by a zombie. This is kind of how
Honestly,
useless this guy has been.
That was the most quiet zombie we've seen in all movie.
She like slowly rises like Dracula from the water, like, oh. Sorry, I was sleeping. What's going on?
I'm here now and I'm hungry.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And I think Spence just like quietly slips out the
Yeah.
door.
Yeah. He locks them in.
Yep.
And-
Shoots the locking mechanism.
Yes. And this is when the queen admits she's been a bad, bad girl. And then we see video footage of Spence at the train already. Because he moves fast.
He moves fast.
He's quick.
Yeah,
He's quick on
for
his
sure.
feet.
Milla.
Apparently
And
the
he's-
train was really close to where they were.
Yes. And he's about to administer the antivirus to himself.
Or heroin.
Yeah, but it's the antivirus. And we just see the liquor come down and just take him out.
Oh yeah.
It eats him. I kind of wish we got to see him get tossed around, but I guess that'd be kind of hard in 2002 to do this.
I was just say, I was gonna like, I wish he got torn apart more. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, he's bloody, but like, I want to see an arm gone,
Yeah.
leg.
It's like the
broken.
liquor literally had one bite and was like, all right, that's all I needed.
The liquor licked him.
Ooh.
Very tonguey, that liquor.
He is.
Yeah.
Tongue game
What's that
strong.
mouth do?
Oh my god.
But
and then the queen then says that the liquor originally was just a live cell tissue that they injected the T virus into, and it created like this monster. And she says that now that the liquor's got a taste of fresh cells, it'll evolve. And you can see right after she says that it literally changes form.
Yeah, in like literally 4 seconds.
Yes, which I do like, because in the games there are like mutations to the main enemies, so that's cool. They did something right there.
And then got you excited.
It's about one of the few things that got me excited. That was a game adaptation, but at this point, then they start to go into how one of the group members is infected.
It's Rain, right?
Yes.
Didn't they have like 20 minutes at this point to escape? Or
Yes.
That's what she's showing on the watch.
Yeah. So
And they need a 4-digit access code to get out.
exactly, and the queen says, if you get rid of Rain, I will give you the code to get out of this room. And in my head, I'm thinking, if they kill Rain, she's still going to leave them in the room. Also, the liquor is now breaking the glass to get in. So there's a lot going on here.
And Rain's like telling Alice, like, you're going to have to kill me or else we'll all die. And she like gets on all fours and she's like ready to go out like a champ.
Yeah.
Rain's like, I'm just so over this. I've gotten bitten 12 times. I'm done. Just do it. End it now.
I can't take another fucking bite.
Yeah.
Not one more.
So Alice then, after a lot of convincing, takes the axe over her head, swings it down, and then upward into the TV somehow.
No, Shaney. Don't do this. Swinging it down, swinging it up.
They do show it going down
I
at
know.
first, and then it's angled up into a TV. But the door's open because Kaplan has fried her, and now they can all escape together.
Somehow he's gotten away.
I
Himself,
I disagree with Miranda that they should have never shown him still alive. This actually would have been a cool twist if he had saved them without us knowing he was still alive.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Kaplan shows up. Oh my god, we didn't even know you were alive. But they ruined that real
Yeah.
quick. So
Missed opportunity.
It was. So they get to the train. They see the antivirus. They see Spence. He's covered in red paint, barely bitten.
it's true.
He looks up and he's a zombie already.
Blue eyes.
Yeah, he's got blue eyes now.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, his are like so piercing compared to like all the other zombies.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like, it's particularly cerulean eyes. Is that right, Milla?
yeah. And then Alice throws the line back in his face that he used on her. I'm missing you already.
I think she hits him with the axe.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
she does.
she
She
hit
does hit him with the
axe
axe.
Brings down the axe
That's what it was.
and drops her very expensive umbrella core ring.
Yeah.
Because the marriage is over.
Consider this a divorce.
Oh my god.
It's an
Shame.
Arnold Schwarzenegger line.
You dog.
That was a good one.
Kaplan's gonna get the power up and running.
Yeah, he is. And they are on the train. They give the antivirus to Kaplan. They give the antivirus to Rain. And Rain looks like she's dead now.
Yeah, she kind
Yeah,
of like just
she looks like she's dead.
falls
This
in
whole
love.
scene is funny to me too because like she just like falls asleep. Like,
Yeah.
'cause
Well,
I was like,
she's so asleep that Alice thinks she's dead.
Yep, because Alice is like she goes for the nearby gun, ready
Mhm.
to grab it, and it kind of like aims it at her, and then she just like puts her hand on the gun.
I'm not
I know.
dead
I was
yet.
like, yeah.
I'll take that.
I was like,
back.
why would you do that? Why would you just fall asleep? Like, clearly she's gonna think you're dead. Like,
Yeah, like at least wait like a couple of minutes. Be like, I'm gonna take a nap.
yeah,
I can,
let somebody know.
yeah, I can promise you that if I was Alice, like in that moment, I definitely would have shot the gun. Not like if she touched the gun, my reaction would be to
Well,
shoot.
it would have been a panic shoot.
Exactly.
Like-
Like you think that's the zombie just reaching out for you, but she didn't pull the trigger because she's a trained assassin.
There you go, Ben. I would have shot you real quick if that would have made you feel better.
Actually, that does. I appreciate that.
There you go.
Jen's like, I would have shot myself.
You've been like, oh, if someone gets bit, they're going to turn into a thing. And I'm just looking at my hand like, well, my time to shine.
Well, this very happy moment is short-lived because claws come through the train and they scratch Matt. And this is just like a scene in Resident Evil 2 where you're in the train, the claws are coming through, you have to dodge them. It's really cool. I appreciate it. Then they're like all panicking. Poor Kaplan, he's driving the train, but the door gets ripped open and he makes a run for it, but he's not getting far because he gets torn out of the train.
Tastes like one step.
Yeah.
This poor guy has been fucking through the ringer the
Yeah.
whole movie, only to get to the train and literally just get ripped out by the liquor.
I'll be honest, like he was the one guy I always wanted to survive.
Yeah.
I actually kind of liked his
No.
character. You get
think
Matt,
Jane-
who's like
Dull.
dull.
Matt is very dull. Yeah, I'm with you.
I
Like,
forgot
there's-
he was in it when I first rewatched it. I was like, oh yeah, he's there.
I felt
Yeah.
so bad for Kaplan usually when everyone dies because he looks terrified and he's like, we gotta keep going.
He was
Yeah.
like throughout the entire movie. He was terrified, but he kept doing everything, which I think
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Then I think the liquor like busts through the back door of the train. I think it knocks Matt down in this process. I think one
Yes.
of the tendrils like rips Alice down from the
Yeah, the
from
tongue.
It's the tongue.
It is the tongue.
You're gonna have to help me explain this. There's a bunch of hanging steel pipes.
Yes.
because that's all I got. For
That is what that is. Hanging steel pipes.
Literally, like in the center of the train. I'm like, who puts that there? Where is
Agreed.
that a convenient spot?
convenient, probably extremely heavy steel pipes that he just takes and rams into the liquor in the back of the train.
Yep.
That
Then
he
he
can somehow push.
He's a strong guy, I guess. He then impales the tongue with one of these steel pipes.
Alice does, I think.
Yeah, Alice. I think.
Is it Alice who
Yeah.
does?
Yeah.
Okay. While she's still wrapped around with the
Correct,
tongue.
yeah, she
Okay.
just traps it with one of the pipes into the ground.
Because then she tells Matt to go press the button. Because apparently this also has a trap door now.
Yeah, that is true.
Conveniently put a trap.
I love the image of the liquor just like being dragged by his tongue. I don't know why. It reminded me of like an anime scene where like you just grab someone by their hair and they're just like going along with it. And then like suddenly he catches on fire somehow.
Well, from all the friction of him like going
Yeah.
down the train, it causes fire.
Sure, why not? He's a liquor on fire.
Yeah, he's on fire. He's like literally engulfed in flames.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll just describe how that happens real quick, just so, because something important happens in between that is when Matt goes to hit the button, he sees Rain stand up. She does a little neck crack because she's still badass as a zombie.
Yeah.
And then she just attacks him as a zombie. He throws her backwards. He shoots her once in the head, and then she just falls backwards into the button. And then we get this whole thing we were describing of the fireball of a monster.
Which is so sad because she just went through all of that.
Yeah.
Got the antivirus and then still dies. I'm like, oh, come on.
I know.
I think if she hadn't gotten bitten as early as she did, or had not gotten bitten 11 of the 12 times she was bitten, she probably would have made it.
Yeah. It also doesn't show if the antivirus works because
That's a good
everybody
point.
who's got injected with it has died before it had a chance to work, I think.
That's a good point.
And I think it could have been false, but I think that the Red Queen mentions that like sometimes she doesn't even know if it does work.
Well, that's why she didn't want to let them out,
Yeah.
because it's not 100% proven that it works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it
Um,
was still in the testing process.
Exactly. So they get out of the hive with like 5 seconds to spare or something like that.
Yeah.
In a big hallway, Alice sees these this is, I would say, like tendrils coming out of his arm or whatever.
He's not doing good.
No. So she's about to inject him with the antivirus when a bunch of people in hazmat suits come in and strap him to a gurney and take him away and subdue her.
It's like a murder of biohazard suit men.
Yes.
Right?
Like crows.
Yeah, they come in, they take him away into an operating room.
When they're taking him, they say we want him in the something project.
Nemesis.
Nemesis project. So they're like just from that sentence, you're like, oh, they're not gonna save either of them whatsoever. They're test subjects now.
Well, it's like they like prepared for this. Like maybe it was all like planned. They wanted this to happen in a way.
See who survives and actually gets out of the hive, and then whoever does just run test on them.
It just seemed too convenient that they just like popped out of nowhere and was like, we're taking these two now. Thank you.
Well, especially since it looks like that doorway was already all they had all the tarps over it and stuff ready to wheel them out.
It's a lot to do in
Exactly.
2 hours while they were down there.
Yeah.
And
They basically
Nemesis was born.
Bring him to the operating table. They take her the mention. I think you hear the voices like they're gonna take her back to Raccoon City facility, reassemble the team, reopen the hive.
Yes. Let's see what really went on down there.
Yes, sir.
Which
So-
couldn't someone just access the Red Queen somehow from the mansion since she's connected to the mansion and ask her what happened? Like that sounds easier.
I think they had to go to the actual terminal where she was. I think that was the whole thing. You can only talk to her from there.
Yeah.
You clearly
Because
forgot
she's out the entire thing, obviously, but like there's only one central command of where she's at.
Seems like a fatal flaw in her design.
Well, I mean, you guys are forgetting about the Red Queen intercom in hallway F of the mansion.
Yeah.
How can I forget that?
Of course. So we do a few roundhouse kicks for Brian's sake.
Yeah, I needed those. I needed her to go out with like a couple of roundhouse kicks before she wakes up in like this state-of-the-art operating room.
Yes.
Which is just completely barren and white.
Where she's wearing her paper towel gown.
Oh yeah.
She's not wearing clothes.
Like those like paper thin, like that you get at like a doctor's office.
Yeah, it's like but not even the one where like you just cover your legs. It's like a blanket. It's like the one that they use to cover your neck at the dentist's office.
It's like 2 pieces of paper they put together with like a string. And
Yeah,
like, here you go, wear this.
String at
Like
a top and bottom.
stretched COVID mask across her
Well,
body.
if there's one thing I know about her, she's naked in almost every Resident Evil movie at some point in time.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so true. Yeah,
They were like, we hired a model. We're going to use her for that.
she's got a nice body. It's true. I guess.
No, she does.
Yeah.
She also got needles in her face and body that she has to pull out.
Yeah, that's kind of gross when she rips them out of her head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They were some thick boys too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why she just ripped them out too. Like didn't even care. She's like, they're out of me now. I'm done.
Yeah. She literally just pulls out a bunch of like needles.
Yeah,
and tubes.
it's brutal. She then she's like, there's no one there, so she's able to stick what is one of the needles, right? That was in her skin into the card
The card
reader and just
you knew she was
she like
sick at that.
MacGyver's it somehow. Like,
Yes.
he uses a needle to unlock a card keypad thing.
Yes. She gets out. One thing I will mention is they show the security area that would be watching over her, and you just see a figure walk by, which
Silhouette.
yeah, it's like a zombie, I'm assuming is what it's supposed to be. She gets outside. She sees it is absolute carnage. There is blood on the 13th floor of that one building. There's cars everywhere. There's papers everywhere. And she just cocks a shotgun, and we go right into Resident Evil 2.
She's like, well, I guess I should get started now. Doesn't even.
Yo, I like the last shot because it's cool because like it's like a pan out of like the whole city just in complete disarray, and like I'm looking and the chaos goes down the entire city block, and I'm wondering, I'm like, is that legit setup? I'm assuming it is.
It is.
Right?
Yeah, it looks like it. One thing I also want to mention, because we actually haven't mentioned it, I don't know how you guys feel. I love the music they use in this like ending scene and like the beginning. That like.
Are you talking about the credits music or like the last shot?
No, like the
last Slipknot.
No, I know that. I mean like the actual last shot music. They also use it a couple times throughout.
I don't know if I'm saying that right, but yeah, it's like that.
I just think it goes really well with the movie. Obviously, the Slipknot goes really well at the end too. But
it's like my favorite soundtrack of like all. I think out of all the movies and everything.
Yeah, for sure. No, it was good. The sound effects, the sound track was good.
And that's it. That's Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Yay!
Honestly, like, we're gonna probably do our reviews now, but for like Resident, I know like we always say video game adaptations are never really great. So adaptation, whatever. But like besides that, the movie itself wasn't bad.
Yeah.
No, like the movie itself was pretty good.
Yeah. So we'll go into each of our reviews of it.
We should tell her the rating system first.
Yeah.
Oh, the rating system. It's just a scale of 1 to 10. Based on 1 being like you absolutely hated the movie, 10 being you absolutely loved it. It's one of your favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, I base mine strictly on like watch value. Like, will I ever rewatch this again?
Well, I've rewatched it like 30 times.
Exactly. So I have an idea of what yours might be.
Mine might be. Well, it's not a 10, no.
No, yeah. I base it based off of a lot of different factors of the movie. I'll go into it now. I'm actually going to give this movie a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Because, like you said, it's actually not a bad movie. It's just a horrible adaptation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of people ripped on this movie because there's very little to do with the video games, especially since it's like supposed to be the first. The mansion is in the first 2 minutes, and there's no Stars team. There's none of the characters from the Stars team. There's no Albert Wesker. There's no Tyrant. There's no Sword Key. There's no there's none of that, and it's very disappointing. But if you forget that this movie is based off of a video game, it's very entertaining.
Like if it's Escape from Raccoon City?
Yes. Like if it's something like that, like it's a very entertaining movie. Like it has characters you're interested in except Matt.
Poor Matt. Poor Matt.
Like it has like badass like characters like Rain and like One, and then people you actually want to see survive like Alice or Kaplan, and it has a good antagonist with Spence. Like he's not the antagonist to the very end, but like he's still like you enjoy his character throughout the movie.
It's creepy a little bit though, I feel, throughout the movie.
Yeah. And then, like, I'll just say, like, the music. Like I said, I liked the music of it. I thought that was good. The zombie effects were good. Of course, like, some of the things, continuity-wise, which I nitpicked on, obviously take some points off. So, yeah, it's a 6 out of 10. I would say, as long as you don't care that it's not, like, the video game, you could watch this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is about, like, Paul W.S. Anderson and continuity issues.
Yeah, he does a lot of those.
This is kind of his thing. It was his hallmark, right? I'm with you. I have this movie at a 6, but, like, I would say probably, like, more on, like, the middle to high-end 6. I like the movie. I thought it was really entertaining. I think I just, like, knock it a little bit more so for the continuity. I would have liked Spence and maybe Alice to have a little bit more relationship background. I'm trying to judge this solely on the fact that it's not a Resident Evil adaptation. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Just on the sense of a movie, I like the sci-fi elements. I thought the kills were pretty good. Could have been a little bit more gory.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the kills were entertaining. The music, like you said, was good. Characters were okay. I would like to see an adaptation, but we didn't get that, and that's fine. But for the most part, it was very entertaining. Not a bad movie. I give it a 6 out of 10.
So I'm kind of going to give it a 7 out of 10 because I rewatched this quite a bit. I love this movie and I like the franchise a lot. I definitely like the video games way more. Super excited for 8 to come out in May, which is, when is this coming out?
May 7th,
yeah,
or something like that.
And that's when the game's coming out, right?
I will let you know right now.
Village.
When this episode is coming
Village
out,
comes out May 7th.
Yeah,
this episode is coming out May 10th, so this is 3 days after the
movie
comes out.
So the game, so we're obviously recording before the game comes out, but I'm stoked to play this game. As of right now, the game's probably out.
No. You're stoked to watch me play this
exactly.
game. Because you never play the games.
I know.
You just like watching everyone else play them.
Exactly. And I love the games. But I'll rewatch this anytime. I love this movie. But, like, obviously knowing it's supposed to be based on the game, I have to dock points because I love when things reference other things, as we've said in past reviews. I don't know. It gives me so much joy. And knowing that they could have done so much better at that, I have to dock points. But, you know, I'll rewatch it again. I give it a 7 out of 10. That's all my reviews are based off of, if I'll watch them.
You like lore a lot.
I do like lore. Yeah. I'm a big fan of lore.
Well, I think I'm probably going to give it the highest view. Just because I give this like an 8 out of 10, personally. Just because I do agree they did not base it very well off of the video games at all. And I do love the video games. The only games I haven't played is like 5 and 6. I've played the rest of them, though.
You don't need to play 6.
I do not need to play 6. There we go. I won't play 6 ever. It's not that great, I guess.
No, it's not.
But I like it because zombies is my favorite creature out of like all the horror movie creatures, like vampires, werewolves, all that stuff. Zombies, because you can do something with zombies, you can create something different with them every single time. And so I always loved it. So I think from me being young and watching it, it just gives me more points on it because I loved it when I was a kid. Yeah, I do dock it because nothing close to the games at all. Some goofs on there are like really funny and messed up. Like there was one I did not mention, but when they're in the laser room, the medic is actually facing the lasers. But then when you see her, she's like, oh, shoot, and like swings back. But she's really actually looking at them. Yeah. So like stuff like that, I dock points on that too. But that's just because it was early 2000s, not much they could do. But overall, I love the movie. I've always loved the movie. And I will continue to watch it probably like 12 more times. So.
We'll go watch it right after this.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, no, it's super watchable. But I think you bring up a good point, Miranda, about like just like the way they portrayed zombies. Because I'm trying to think of like earlier movies where zombies were formed because of a virus. You know, like an infection turned them. This was like, when did the first game come out? Like 97?
Yeah, it was like 97, 98.
So they had to be like, Resident Evil had to be like one of the first franchises to come up with this idea. I can't think of anything prior to 97 being an infection turned people into flesh-eating killers after death.
Yeah, I mean, because that was a PS1 game, so like Super Nintendo weren't doing anything like that.
I'm also thinking movies too.
Yeah.
I'm sure it probably did happen. I just can't think of anything off the top of my head. Because like you mentioned, I'm trying to think of like the primary zombie movies. Like
You get like Night of the Living Dead, Return of the Living
yeah.
Dead, but I don't think that was a virus that
no.
did that. That
20,
was just
it was 28 Days of Virus, but
28 days later, but that came out after Resident Evil.
exactly.
The Last of Us, that was like a plant thing. Like they were
Yes.
like plant zombies, like real like Resident Evil zombies.
It was like bacteria.
Which and then they
fungus.
also changed exactly,
Yeah.
and they also changed like the speed of them too, which I think is funny. Like some movies have them sprinting, and then other ones have them walking very slow.
They'd be horrifying sprinting.
World War Z zombies
Yes.
would be. I would die in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
There's no way.
That's
Did
like
you guys
28
see
days
World War
later.
Z?
Yeah, 28 days
Yeah.
later. Yeah.
Figure out how to climb on top of each other and get over the wall.
Yeah,
was ridiculous.
some of them are like super highly intelligent. Like they mentioned in this movie, like there's basic motor function, but like some of the zombies are like super intelligent. Me and Shane have seen a movie once. It was like a comedy horror where it's called Dance of the Dead, where zombies are actually catapulting out of their grave sites into running motion.
Oh, that
Oh my
movie's great.
gosh.
So like,
Yeah.
it's a really clever concept, just the zombie in general.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorite creatures. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
The Jen staple.
So, gentlemen, Miranda,
Yes.
it is that time in the review where we pick a character to enter our Necronomicon, our Book of the Dead. It is someone who we will lie to and say that there may be a promise of reanimation one day, but there's really not. We're far too lazy. We'll forget about it when we're old and about to die, and they'll be stuck in there forever. But, you know, they'll have the thought that maybe someone will think of them one day. So who do we want to give that honor to?
I mean, you already know who I want to give the honor to.
You already know.
Go for it.
Yeah, you could start us off.
I mean, I say Rain. Michelle Rodriguez, Rain. I
It's a
would
good
love
one.
to see her come back.
I would love to see her maybe possibly be stuck in there thinking she'll come back.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely wouldn't be upset about it.
Your nominations, gentlemen?
Yeah.
God, this is tough.
Mine, I gotta go with, I'll go with mine. I know what mine is. I know, like, it's cool to pick one that, like, is a good character, drives a story. I always go for the coolest death. So
And-
I'm going for Grated Cheese Guy.
Yeah. You see, that's what I was thinking too.
You're going to go for one?
Commando 1.
Yes.
Commando 1.
Commando 1, Tactical Crew Leader.
You see, I was thinking him too. Well, who do you think, Jen?
I was going to go with Rain because she took the most bites.
She's literally the baddest
She
one.
was fighting so hard to survive, and she got bitten so many times.
She tried so hard, and then it just...
Like, she had great genome, and it took 12 bites to get through to it.
All right. So that means,
Deciding factor before we flip the coin.
I'm going to say 1. I want to flip the coin of the dead.
The coin of the dead.
Flip the Necronomic coin.
You're pulling up the
Wait.
Necronom coin?
Yeah, I mean, I wish we had an actual coin. We'll invest in one of those one day. But I do have this coin flipping app, the coin of the
Wouldn't
dead
that
app.
be kinda, like, cool if we
We have to
made
pick
it the
one.
next.
Oh, yeah, we didn't pick heads or tails yet. Okay.
Heads. We pick
Okay.
heads.
You're picking heads? Here we go.
It's always heads.
It is indeed also
It's
heads
lit-
again.
It's literally always heads.
This
I
app
know.
sucks. Wait. Damn, it was tails that time.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Okay, it's Rain.
It's Rain.
It was tails.
That the second time it was tails. Your time it was heads, so Rain is going into the book.
How do you spell her name?
R-A-N.
R-A-I-N.
Like
literally
literal
Rain.
brain. Yeah.
Shane, do you have a eulogy prepared for Rain?
Good Lord.
Yes, I do. Rain, Michelle Rodriguez,
Boston Market.
you are one badass motherfucker. You took not 1 bite, not 2 bites, about 10 bites. One of them to your neck.
Yeah.
And the one in the neck was in the middle of the movie, and you kept on going.
Mm-hmm.
The problem was you got the T-virus at the hour and 30-minute mark of this movie, and it was a little too late. So, you didn't make it. But for being such a badass, we are going to honor you and put you into our Necronomicon.
That's it. Thanks, Shane.
You're welcome.
You're in.
So, Miranda, thank you for being on. Thank you for talking with us, having this chat about this good movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitch. I stream mostly Dead by Daylight, but any games, Resident Evil coming out, most likely we'll be doing that. But at Randuhsrebellion, as well as my Instagram at Randuhsrebellion as well.
And we
So-
can put that in the description because it's spelled uniquely.
Yeah.
We can definitely do that.
Thank you
That is
so
not a
much for
problem.
coming on, Miranda. It was a lot of
Thank you
fun.
guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Honestly, thank you.
All right. So now is the time where we say what we will be reviewing next.
Please, because I don't know.
It's a really good movie. We are going to Poltergeist.
Oh, we're going to the 80s.
Yes, the original
Ooh.
Poltergeist movie. I love it.
It's scary. The movie's scary.
Yeah.
I'm excited because I saw the new one not too long ago, so I'm excited to go back and compare.
How
Did you like? I
was
actually
it?
never saw the
Yeah,
new one.
how
Did you
was
like
it?
the new one?
I didn't think it was terrible. Miranda says no. Miranda says no. Fuck that movie.
I'm sorry. The first one is so much better. The
Yeah.
second one was really bad.
I believe
If you
that.
guys want to review a really
I mean,
bad movie, that's
The
a good
acting
one.
wasn't great. Like, I don't think the acting
I'm
was
sorry.
anywhere on par. I just remember thinking, I'll watch that again. So I'm not
No.
going to say it was the worst of the worst.
Cool.
Yeah, I want to
Miranda-
review a really
Miranda-
good one though. So we're gonna do the
Miranda's-
original.
Miranda says,
Yes.
fuck that movie.
Yes, do the original.
All right.
Yes.
We are the final podcast signing off, and we will see you next week as we go into the light. So if you haven't already, please follow us on Facebook and Twitter at The Final Pod Ever. Follow us on Instagram at The Final Podcast. And if you haven't, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple. It really, really helps Apple, push out our content and recommend us to other people to listen to.
Shane?
I think that this is the greatest film that's been produced ever in the history of time. Wouldn't you agree?
You know you don't believe that. But hey, I'm Mike Bratwurst, and I'm here with my good friend.
This is Tim the Basement Dweller, aka the feller from another cellar. And we are here to basically say, well, I think I love the film, right?
Oh, yeah, no, I love this film like I love tomatoes and Brian's hair when he hasn't showered in 3 days.
I would argue that this might be Paul W.S. Anderson's greatest work. In fact, I don't think the human eye is capable of perceiving the beauty that is this film. And I argue that it should be buried in the Romanian salt mine alongside the director's cut of Event Horizon. Wouldn't you agree?
We could even add a little bit of that, like maybe throw some dynamite down there and never have to see it again.
I believe that no human should see this film. I just don't think it's physically possible for anybody to perceive the perfection that is this film and the 5 other films that spawned out of it. I would even make the argument that in 2016, we lost Harambe, the Cincinnati ape. It was an untimely assassination. And some would say that the end of civilization as we know it started with the death of that gorilla. I would make the argument that it was the Resident Evil Final Chapter film, which debuted that same year. And this was the only thing that was satisfying the elder gods from punishing us. And the fact that they have not made a Resident Evil film with Paul W.S. Anderson ever since is the reason why we are where we are now.
Yeah, and I would even say that Harambe caused such ripples in the fabric of time that it actually created this movie when it came out.
So you're saying that basically the death of Harambe the ape is the reason why we have the Resident Evil franchise?
Yeah, probably about 12 years earlier.
What a true hero. I truly am saddened by his loss. The fact that I have to watch Milla Jovovich run around and take the source material to new heights to make the Resident Evil games look like pieces of shit compared to the perfection that is the films. I just can't fathom it.
And I mean, what was the purpose of her running around in a red dress the whole time? I mean, is she really hot? Is she not? I can't tell.
Well, Bratwurst, I just want to let you know, side effects of Resident Evil may include creating a 6-film franchise with Milla Jovovich, marrying her, and then having her 2 children. Unfortunately, I no longer have my dick and balls due to an unfortunate accident with a radiated squirrel. So this is a negative for me. I'm completely a Ken doll down there. Do you know a doctor?
The only doctors I know are from the T-virus, and that's creation.
That's true. They might be able to help me. Maybe they can just spawn me a new penis.
Yeah. Or they can lock you in a room with, about an inch of water in it, and you can see how that works out.
So basically the basement I live in every day.
Yeah, pretty much.
I just want to hear more from you about how you feel about these films.
Well, let me say it this way. Just by even thinking about creating a movie like this, instantly angered anybody who's ever been a friend of the franchise. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Because it sucks.
Because it sucks. Because it sucks.
Are you telling me you do really like it?
I may or may not have been given whatever the opposite of truth serum was before I walked into this room. So everything that I'm saying may or may not be the truth.
Well, you know what? Let's get into the plot a little bit. So they have a wonderful one in the first game, just in general. You know, the whole game goes through, you're left satisfied at the end, potentially leading into other games. This is great, right? You go into this movie, you take little bits up from that franchise, from the games, basically just enemies and the general plot of the games, and then just, you know, spiral it downward until we bury it deep 6 feet under.
Now, I did hear that Paul W.S. Anderson did lock himself in a room for several days playing all of the video games in the franchise. I am not entirely sure if he was actually playing Resident Evil or if he was just playing, something that he bought off of the street from some type of bog witch who sells broken games.
I think he just spent most of his time playing Hello Kitty Puzzle Island Adventure.
I could totally get behind that. If I could even make the argument if he was playing Dino Crisis, but again, that's not even plausible. I honestly don't know what games he said he played because it definitely was not the Resident Evil franchise. I'm pretty sure that he played something called the Neighbor Good games. I heard it was a series of games that came out on the black market that were supposed to mirror Resident Evil, but actually had nothing to do with the plot. And he says that he completely derived his script from that.
Now, let me ask you, Tim, with the characters that are created in Resident Evil, you got Chris Redfield, you got Wesker, who's actually one of my favorite characters in all the video games. What happened to these characters? Like, what happened to the beloved and not Milla Jovovich?
You don't need them. You only need Milla Jovovich. You only need Milla Jovovich. I would even make the argument we didn't even need Michelle Rodriguez in the first one.
Well, it's because she just has pointy eyes the whole time, or she's constantly just looking up into the back of her skull.
That is true. There's a lot of things pointy on Milla Jovovich too. A lot of things going on her that are protruding, and at sometimes I don't know whether to be sexually attracted or scared. Now, I will make the argument when I originally saw the Resident Evil film, I did have my dick and balls. I no longer have my dick and balls. Does anyone know a doctor? Just wanted to follow up on that. Thank you.
No, what about the kills in this movie? Do you think that they were worth it, accurate, unnecessary?
You know what? I don't think it's a good film unless the entire cast gets eliminated in the first 2 minutes by lasers. Then I don't want to watch it.
Now, what you're saying is jumping over and under lasers, it's not plausible, especially for how it happens at the end of that scene?
I would say that it's totally plausible, but unfortunately, I've not been considered athletic since 1995, and my joints really hurt. Again, do you know a doctor?
I'm headed there.
Okay. No, I would argue that this film is perfection. You eliminate half the cast in the first couple minutes. You know what I love? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that containment unit where they drop the virus. Do you know any containment unit that has the fans connected to the rest of the building? That's exactly how buildings are made.
So what you're saying to me is that if you contain a room with noxious gases in it, it shouldn't spread throughout the entire facility?
Yes, it should. That is up to code.
That's ludicrous.
Absolutely not. That was not an OSHA violation whatsoever. Absolutely not. That was 100% by design.
Well, you know what? I'm going to do my own rewrite of this movie, and I am going to say right off the bat, nobody goes down there. They automatically shut down the place. None of this ever happens. Zombies stay there.
But then you don't understand. If we did not have these films to satisfy the elder gods, this is why we are where we are now. We're in the middle of our own outbreak, IRL. We can't get back from it. You understand that these Resident Evil films need to be made until the end of time, until the end of civilization as we know it.
No, I can't handle it. Nope.
I'm complete disagreement with you. The only hope that I have for the franchise is this reboot that is supposed to be coming out later this year. And my message to the director, I swear to God, if you mess this up, I will turn you into a Jill sandwich and eat you. I just want you to know that.
Shane, I'm sorry. I could have sworn I heard an overcooked hot dog in the basement.
Please, someone get me a doctor.